This is VP4 TV. Here is a list of scheduled upcoming matches in this year's VP4 2022 World 10 Ball Championship. I will try and stream as many matches as I can, although time zone differences will be an issue. I must thank those players who take this into consideration when arranging their matches. Please subscribe to my YouTube and Twitch channels to join in the stream chat.
Your assignment tonight is strategic. You can't give the enemy a break. Send them to hell.
things look bad, and it looks like you're not gonna make it, then you gotta get mean. I mean plumb mad dog mean. Because if you lose your head and you give up, then you neither live nor win. That's just the way it is.
The trouble with Scotland is that it's full of Scots.
Mistakes here. We just have happy accidents.
Well, good evening, good afternoon, chaps. This might be as short as last night's. We're here on VP4 TV for another one-loss side match. As you can see on the screen, we've got the schedule, which has been updated. The update is that One Pocket Slim has arranged his match on the one-loss side with Fast Eddie, and that's going to be on what day is it? Let me have a look again. What day did they say it was? Friday, I think it was. And it's going to be breakfast time for those guys. It's going to be 3 p.m. in the afternoon for us in the UK. I'll be there for it. The bad news at the moment is there's bad news and good news. The bad news is that Markshark still hasn't shown up. Machine's been in and out of the lobby the last hour or so since I've been online. And the good news is that Z Karaoke has appeared. He's actually in a game now. I typed in the chat but got no response from him, asking where he was or what was up with him, but no reply. But I've noticed that he's in his own room at the moment. So that's the good news, is that he's fitting well as far as we're aware. At least he's online. Whether he's going to be participating in any more of the league, I don't know. Is he still in that team? Did Steve not put him out and put somebody else in? I don't know whether he did or he didn't. But we will see. It's 6 minutes away from the proposed start time for this match. But here's hope. Markshark usually does show up. I don't think he's ever really... I don't recall ever being a problem with Markshark turning up, unless, again, something does crop up. But anyway, welcome everybody. Everybody I might have missed. I think Dwight was there, Slim's there, Semi-Pro was there, Brain Pillout's arrived, and anybody else. Yeah, disappointment last night, but I don't know whether you noticed in the lobby that right, so he kicked him, so that means he's available for somebody else, if anybody else wants him, if he wants. But then again, my question and my doubt in my mind is you want reliability. You don't want somebody that can't be relied on. You need somebody to be there. But anyway, that's by the by. Well, we lie in wait. Patiently we wait. I hope he does turn up. I'm just having a double check, make sure he hasn't sneaked in the back door. Can't see where he is. Nope, he's definitely not there. So these tournaments begin to boil up when it gets down to this sort of stage. So every match potentially is well worth watching. I'll try and get as many as I can. I do want to publicly thank, especially the guys from the States, not including Slim in this thanks, because most of the guys in the States in these tournaments, not just this one, but a lot of other ones, Larry's generally pretty good as well at arranging matches where, with the greatest respect, it's the middle of the afternoon US time or late morning, and they do go out their way to arrange them at a time that suits me, and I want to thank them for it, because I try my best to get as many as I can. I mean, if it's on my days off, it could be the middle of the night. I'll set my alarm and get up and stream them. If it's a Wednesday or a Tuesday, if it's from Tuesday night into Wednesday and Thursday, it doesn't matter what time of day they're set at. But any other day of the week, as long as it's in, late afternoon or early evening, then I will try and get them. So it's a thanks to all the guys that do think about that when they're arranging a match. Well, I think you'll have a... Where are you, Chico, again? Are you in the UK? You need to remind me where you are. Right, the good news is Markshark has arrived. Let me just do a quick check. Steve said he might be late. I don't know whether he was talking about this match or talking about Albie's match. I can't remember. But Steve's appeared in the chat in the lobby, but he's not in Discord, so no doubt he'll rattle the door if he is coming in. So that is good news. Markshark is here. So we do have a match. Well, at least we know that you won't be playing in the middle of the night to suit Stub, Chico. That's always good news. I mean, Stubb's been hanging around in the lot. I don't know whether he's actually here, because he hasn't typed any crap yet. He probably will soon enough, but certainly there won't be any 3 o'clock in the morning matches when you're playing Stub. Let me just have another quick check. Oh, Steve's in Discord. So let's get to it.
Welcome to VP4 TV. You're watching a Tactical Genius production. Please welcome your commentary team for this match, 9ball.com and Super Admin aka Steve Chaplin, CEO and President of Celeris, Inc. Good luck to both players and have a good one.
Good evening to Steve. And...
looks like we got players today, huh?
Well, that was the greatest news. The other news I mentioned is Eat Karaoke's back in the building, but no reply from him when I asked him what was up with him. He didn't say anything, but he's in the room, so...
No, he sent me a message. I knew he was back. He sent me a message saying that, I don't remember what the deal was. He had something came up, so I mean, I didn't.
No,
he said thanks for making somebody else captain. I did not get on his case about it, but I mean,
it's up to him to tell you whether he wants to tell you or not. I mean, if he just says that he couldn't be there, then you leave it at that. You don't pry. But as long as he knows that, well, I mean, the thing is, if he's now out the team, he can go into another team if somebody wants him.
Well, he's still on the team.
Oh, is he still on the team?
Captain. Yeah, I think I made him a co-captain. I made Traveling TT the captain. He's here. He wants to do it. And that's the thing is, you got to be responsible. If you're a captain, you need to make sure your players are showing up. If you're not going to be there, that's fine. But you got to have co-captains. You got to have other people take care of things. You can't just disappear.
Right, the room has just gone up. Mark, Ryan Day won it. I haven't a clue what the score was. I had to go to bed. But he won it. He beat Mark Allen last night. So we are in the room. We're all set to go. I probably agree with Slim's prediction that Machine will be a bit more consistent than Markshark will be. And if it goes that way, then Machine will win. If Mark gets focused, I've been trying to get all my VP4 TV team focused. So let's hope he applies himself and makes a match out of it. But he probably will be on the losing end tonight. But we will see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for Markshark to win this match. I would say Machine's more than just a slight favorite. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities, but I think he's going to need some help from Machine. Let's see. I think I'm going to keep track of these breaks here. So, we haven't started. This is just practice.
Yeah. Waiting on.
Doesn't do me any good to mark them down now.
Mark arriving. Anyway.
Yeah, I want to recheck the break stats and make sure they're working right because I'm not sure that they are.
Welcome to everybody. Anybody who's turned up that I haven't noticed.
So in other news, I don't know if you noticed, but I adjusted a bunch of people's handicaps in the league.
Oh, you certainly adjusted mine. That's the first time I've been over 2,100 in about 6 years. Yours
went up. There's, I believe, 3 players that went down.
Well, Jover, I think, needs to go down because there's no way he's playing at 2,200 odd. Yeah, he's. I mean, that was.
What was another one?
Yeah.
And I can't remember who the last one was. So there's some other people that may go down. It's just, have to have enough games. Basically, what I did is I put the capability so that, admin, me or event director or league director can go in and change the handicap to what the current one is. So, if you're wondering where that number came from that you got adjusted to, it's just what your current is. So I can press a button and change it to the current. So, some of them were pretty severe differences. Now, one guy I didn't adjust was Bobby Barris. His current rating is very high compared to what he came into league with. So I didn't change him because he isn't winning. I'm not sure why his rating's up, but he's not winning at the clip I thought he should be. But he may get changed too. But everybody's subject for review. At first, I was only going to change people that were way out, but when you got 150 point difference.
So when are you putting semi-pro's rating up then?
I considered him. I don't think he's quite ready, but it may happen because I'm primarily looking at games one, but it's also going to be matches one. I mean, because the thing is if you don't win matches, then ultimately the way the system works is it's based on games, not matches. I've thought about making a change to it so that a match win gets a extra bump, but currently it's not like that. It just goes by the games. So that's what we're looking at. We're basically looking at the difference in the ratings. Semis wasn't way out yet.
So here's another question for you, Steve. Let me just see if I can get the right button. Hang on a minute. I think this is it. There is the scheduled matches on the screen. What are you doing on Friday morning at breakfast time? because Slim's arranged his match with Fast Eddie
I'm probably playing golf.
Oh, there's a surprise. Yeah. Well, you
That's
can
Friday morning golf game.
Yeah, well, you can keep up to date in the stream while you're out in the course looking for your ball.
I do Friday morning and Wednesday morning are my golf mornings.
Mm. What a hard life Steve's got, eh?
Trust me, I work plenty still, and I've worked unbelievable hours in my lifetime.
I'm playing under protest.
I still work a fair amount.
So anyway, we're still in the first rack here.
Yeah, we're missing the one ball a lot is what we're doing.
Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, he's okay. Now, this is on Markshark's break, so it'd be handy if we could actually get something done here, but he's going to struggle because...
he needs to back this up here. He needs to miss a 6 ball.
Yeah, he's had a lash at that, trying to get the 3
forward.
out.
That was tough to go forward and get there. That was difficult the way he ended up because of where that 6 ball was. I mean, it was easy to back it up without the 6 ball there.
Well, he's now going to find out what it's like at this level of the game when you do something like that and you don't.
Now here's the mistake right off the bat. He's drawing this ball. Never draw this ball.
Well, he hasn't got into it either. That's poor.
Well, that's an easy shot. You just cut the 2 ball and come off the long rail and it rolls right out. So that's what sort of frustrates me about watching a player like Machine, who's got a real good feel for the game, is a pretty good player.
You don't think he was worried about that 6 ball though, Steve?
The 6 ball wasn't even in play. It wasn't close. I mean, when I see that, like if I was in a pool room and I saw a guy playing and he did that, I'd just say to myself, he can't beat me. There's no way that guy can beat me, because anybody that doesn't understand how to play that shot can't beat me. Now, of course, if the guy is laying down and trying to hustle some pool or something, it might be a different case. But I don't think that's the case here with Machine. I don't think he's laying down. He just made the wrong choice there's really no debate about that. I mean, sometimes there's like, okay, well, you could have done this or you could have done that. In that case, there was only one shot that was the right one, and it wasn't the one he shot.
Well, that's a good little shot by Mark. He played the bank on the 3, didn't get on the 5, and he's
a very good shot.
Away. Plenty of room behind that 5 ball. Loads of room.
But see, if I'm Albonario and I'm watching this, I'd be saying the same thing. Oh, Machine can't beat me. Look what he's doing there. I mean, he should already won this rack.
Well, that 5 will now cut. And this is where Markshark needs to put this to bed, this rack. It needs to be done. Now, well, look at the amount of acreage there is to get that cue ball into. He's got there, but it was getting a bit tricky. Now he's got a problem.
He's just got to decide whether he's going to shoot the 7 ball down to the end of the table or whether he's going to play for the 9. And it looks like he's playing for the 9. It was interesting how he hit that. I would have used less top and more English, but he got there. Yeah, I mean, well, that's an unusual choice.
First one of the day.
Yeah, well, now that was a bad choice. Why? Because for starters, I thought the combo was an easier shot to make anyways than the billiard. But the other reason is what you just saw is that, if you hit that dead on,
it's going to follow
the cue ball is going to follow it in.
But it has to get marked down as a fail, though. I mean, there was only, 4 balls on the table, not a problem with them.
Yeah. Well, we've seen a terrible choice out of both players in the first rack. And that first rack took forever.
Yeah, that's 10 minutes.
A 10-minute first rack.
10 minutes for the first rack. It could be a long night, and it's only raised to 13.
Well, if these guys keep playing like this, it's going to be. I mean, that was...
Now, is Wit in the stream? I haven't seen Taoist Nomad. I don't think he's in the stream, at least if he is, he's not said. He'll probably play in the 9-ball Scotch doubles now that I think about it.
Yeah. So that was a dry break.
The interesting thing last night was I went and had a cup of coffee after I killed the stream, and I came back. Had a look in the lobby, saw Mr. Fox had arrived and was typing chat directed to Bill and anybody else that would listen. The thing is, nobody listened. there wasn't a single response, and Bill either went back to work or he was sitting there doing what I was doing and doing nothing. He forgot the game was on. That was his excuse after having agreed and arranged it.
Hey, I mean, that could happen to anybody. But, that's what calendars and alarms and all the other thing you got in the modern world, you have to remind you. It's not like the old days with the only way you get reminded is if your secretary told you, hey, you got this meeting.
No, I never had a secretary. None of us had secretaries, Steve. We're not in that sort of line of business.
Well, I had secretary / babysitter.
Well, here we go again. Markshark has the table at his mercy.
Well, I agree with you on Pocket Slim, although on time is a relative term because where I live now, 15 minutes late is still on time.
Yeah, I agree with Slim. I mean, I've never, other than when I was on the motorway going to work and get caught in the snow and the traffic was running slow. That was the only time I've ever been late for work. At any point, I'm always on time. I'm like Slim. I'm old school. If you agree a time, you are going to be there on that time, come hell or high water. Good evening to Bill.
Yeah, well, Bill says he took the wife out,
Quite
which
right,
is
Bill.
Understandable. And you know what, Bill? It's not your responsibility to try to get a hold of him to reschedule it. If he wants to reschedule it, he can email or text you or whatever. Because he's the one that didn't show up. I mean, he's the one that should be saying, "Hey, I'd like to replay it. Sorry, I was and such and such." Well,
I'm not going to say anything here for Mark. I'm slightly biased because he's my teammate. Well, he didn't dare go to the right there. He's checked it inside, and now he's heading up table, and he's got to get this ball to the hole first of all, rather than worrying so much about the cue ball here. He's got to think two ways, and he's caught the jaw. He should have let it just run. He checked it. He should have let it just run, and it would have been a straighter pot.
Yeah, well, whenever you're gonna stun it like that, you got to make sure that you're getting the center of the cue ball. I don't know if that's why you missed it, but if you miss the cue ball center, you're gonna turn it on that kind of shot.
Well, the significance in these first two racks is Markshark has had serious opportunities to be 2-0 up, Peter, and now it's looking opposite. Yeah. And that's leaving a bad taste in the mouth. Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing makes you feel worse than doing that. Oh, he's going way right.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, break from the side rail is fine.
We saw loads of narrow breaks. Well,
but it doesn't look like he's making a ball.
The reason I was asked, I'm going to get to this this feature request that Whit was asking me in the lobby, and then he then said, I said, well, send a message to support. He said, no, could you ask Steve for him, and I'll ask you this, Steve.
He thinks you have the power.
Yes, he thinks I can influence you.
Well, tell him how long you've been asking for your camera on the numpad.
I've been asking for the camera for the numpad for God knows when. I've been asking for an all-black cue for 20 years, since VP3, and I got one in VP3, and I can't remember who made it.
Well, you know why it's a problem getting one in VP4 is because Stubb wants it too.
Yeah, well, Stubb can have what he wants. I still want an all-black shaft. Anyway, that's digressing. Let's just see this rack first before I bring up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the league page, and you can then assess whether it's a viable thing to bother doing, or whether you would say, well, you just that's what the buttons are there for. You go into the room and you find out what's happened here.
Well, that's no good. He can't see the edge of it either. He's going to have to kick at it. And that was really not the right speed to kick it, I don't think, but he came out pretty good.
Yeah, and he didn't call a pocket either, just for the sake of calling one.
Yeah. He got away with it because the 4-ball hit the 10. Otherwise, it wasn't going to be good.
Yeah, that's the danger for Markshark semi-pro, that Machine has he's been in the lobby. I think I don't even know whether he went into room to do some warming up, but once he does get warmed up, I fear for Markshark's prospects here, because Mark should be 2-0 up and he's already chasing his tail.
Boy, Machine hit that 4-ball good. That was a nice shot. Unfortunately, the 6 is in the way. Now that's...
Yeah, he's missed a hit.
Boy, that's bad. I mean, that's pretty hard to miss that ball. He just hit the 4 way too thick.
To me, Mark's hitting the ball too hard. There's not much controlled about it there.
He was drawing that, and I think he had to at least stun it where that 6-ball was. You don't want to follow it in, but missing the ball is how do you miss that ball? I mean, that.
It's just evidence of nervousness to me. What can he do here? Not much.
No, he's going to be kicking.
And this time he's calling a pocket.
And this one, I'd kick it at the speed, so if I miss short, the 4-ball's going to about the middle of the long rail. See, that's too hard.
Yeah, every shot he's hitting it at the same pace to me.
Well, if I was going to hit it like that, where I was like, okay, if I miss this, I want it to go up table, I would have hit it harder. You could play that shot. I think, there's some issues with like the 10 and 9 being there that could stop it. But the thing is, I don't think he's thinking about that. Like, if I miss it, where is it going to go?
Really?
But if you're kicking at balls, that's the primary thing you should be thinking about on that kind of kick shot, because you're not going to make it that often.
Well, look at this setup. The problem here is getting from the 6 to the 7, believe it or not. I mean, it's just getting good on that 7-ball. And it'll all hinge on what kind of angle he's going to have off the 6, whether he has to use the rail.
Well, this is go behind it. See, this shot, you should always go behind the 7-ball between the 7 and the long rail. Because if you get on that line, it rolls out perfect. Doing anything besides going behind it's a mistake. See, that's a mistake. Because A, that's how you scratch. B, that's how you get a funny angle. I mean, you should always go behind that 7, between the 7 and the long rail.
He's struggling already.
Well, I mean, it's just, if you make bad choices, it makes it harder to run out. No matter, what your skill level is. You can be the greatest player in the land as far as being able to do things and pocket balls, but if you don't make good decisions on how you move the cue ball, it makes the game tough.
He's certainly struggled to find his pace, and of course the other valid reason for that is he's turned up cold. He's 5 minutes before the match started. He's not been in a room getting some practice, and here's hoping for my VP4 team's sake that he actually warms up.
And he left himself funny on the 10 now.
Yeah,
not that he should miss it, but you're going to miss this a lot more than you're going to miss straight in. It's just percentages.
Well, he's got there.
You can say, oh, well, he got out. Well, but the reality of it is given the way that he played that, he's probably only getting out about half the time, whereas, you play it the right way, and it's probably 95%er.
Right, hang on a minute, just while he breaks off. His cue disappeared there, or had he drawn it all the way back? Try again, I think. Hang on. Let me just go to the home page. I want to bring up this league page. Go to we'll go to this week's matches. Now, I've brought the matches up from this week or Saturday night's matches. On that page, Steve, when you look at the scores coming through and you know how you've got the little buttons put in to jump from room to room, what Whit was asking is that when you look at that page while the actual league's running live, what you don't know is who's getting what. You know, like the tournament bracket, you can see on the tournament bracket once the tournament goes live what the handicap is. Whit was asking, is it possible to have the handicap shown on this live page as it would be on the...
Yeah, it's possible to do that.
So that's a request from Whit, if it's possible.
We could put player ratings up there too. I mean, it's all that information's there.
Yeah. Well, that's another one to bear in mind. So anyway, 2-1 at the moment. I don't know what Mark was trying there, because if that was a pot, he was a mile off it. That's not going to... Oh, it is. It just caught the...
Oh, shoot. I didn't see that break.
Edge.
I missed the break.
I think
what happened on that break?
I think there was
Machine's break.
There was a ball. There was a ball in the break, wasn't there, guys? Because again, I was rabbiting on. In fact, did we actually see it? Because I was tabbed out.
Yeah, you distracted me.
I was tabbed out there.
I was looking at whatever you were trying to tell me. Does anybody know if a ball was made on the break?
I think they're like me. They've got no idea. I think I don't know whether had I tabbed back in before the break. Well, certainly there was one ball gone, and then Machine potted another.
Okay, so Machine and then Markshark got to the table once, right?
Yeah, Markshark missed the two.
Okay, so you think Machine made the one ball though?
Well, I think he made the one ball. He must have, because Markshark. Well, then again, why would Markshark be at the table if it was Machine's break?
Well, right now the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are all on the table, so one of those wasn't made on the break.
Well, here's a question: the guys that are on Twitch, am I right in saying that the guys that are watching on Twitch, it was a dry break?
It was a dry break. All right, good.
Yeah,
so Machines broke twice dry.
Yeah, because I think the guys on Twitch can actually rewind the live stream and watch the last 10 minutes or however amount and watch what happened.
Now I got some other information for you guys. Okay, so talking about 9-ball breaks, we can talk about 10-ball breaks too, but 9-ball breaks by the pros. Okay, so these stats were compiled by Dr. Dave various years. Some were done with a template rack, like a magic rack. Some were done with a triangle rack. So Turning Stone Classic, that's this year. Triangle rack. Made ball on break without a foul, 58%. European Open, 61%. World Cup of Pool, 85%. UK Open, 93%. Now, those are all with triangle racks. Now, what does that tell you? I mean, this is ridiculous. In the UK Open, they made 93% on the break without a foul. That's ridiculous. So, and this comes back to my point about matchroom sports and how they're doing things and why the best players aren't winning tournaments. Well, that was a dry break by Markshark. When you make 93% on the break, what ends up happening is that, typically means you're probably making a high ball count too. The table's spreading really well. So now you're in a situation where you've got a lot of easy tables, and guess what? Everybody can run out easy tables. So if you wonder why Shane doesn't win more, or the Filipinos don't win more in these European events, that's why, because it comes down to who can run out easy tables without making a dumb mistake, instead of, you know, who can run out tough tables. And obviously there's going to be more mistakes, but it becomes a kind of a rote thing. It's like, you know, it's like who can make 100 5-foot putts in a row. Well, because you can make 100 5-foot putts in a row, it doesn't make you a great putter. It means that you're consistent from 5 feet. And I think that's what's happening in pool in Europe is they're just making it too easy on the break. Now, that said, they've gone to tighter pockets in some of these events, although those numbers from 2022, and I thought they'd already gone to the 4 1/4 inch pockets, or maybe they were even 4. And I know they went to break box at some point. Maybe it was after the UK Open. Matchroom Premier League, 84%. Okay, now to give you an idea how high that really is, in the Derby City Classic, using a template rack, it was 73%. So that's pretty unbelievable that you got a percentage with a triangle rack that's higher than a template rack. Mosconi Cup with a triangle rack, 86%. So there's some things that are grossly wrong with the game at that pro level. You just should not be breaking at 90, even 80+% is ridiculous.
So, is it? I mean, the point you're making though, between those first stats that you gave for those couple of tournaments in the States, what's the main difference? I mean, the tournaments, I'm assuming in the States, they don't have a break box.
Well, there's a number of things. You know, some of it is that you know, the way the tables are set up. Some of it is going to be how often they clean the balls. Some of it's going to be how new the cloth is. Like, you know, I'm watching Matchroom putting brand new felt on the table for the final, like they do for snooker, which is a huge mistake because that's not what pool is. You go down to the pool room, you're not playing on brand new felt. You're doing that once a year, maybe. You know, they're making conditions conducive for those kind of break numbers.
So these tournaments, you know how there's these tournaments in the States, the big tournaments like the Derby City Classic, they have like however many tables, 30 odd tables, maybe more than that, and they'll have a main because they live stream it, so they'll have a main match table as well, you know, with the TV lights on it and stuff. How do they go with the same cloth all the way through the tournament on every table?
Well, if it's a setup at a convention or at a place like Derby City, they set up the tables for the tournament and then they leave them the whole time. And at Derby, you play banks, 1 pocket, then 9 ball. I mean, the tables get played 24 hours a day for 10 days. So by the time you get to the end of it, the cloth is very worn in. But to give you an idea of the difference in some of these things, okay, the one that was 93% in the UK Open, they're racking a 1 ball on the spot.
That was another dry break there, Steve, according to Mark.
Oh, boy, these guys can't make a ball on the break. So like at the Derby City Classic, where they used a template rack, they racked the 9 ball on the head spot. So even though they're using a template rack, it's 20% lower break success than the UK Open because they probably got everything's perfect. Even though they're using a triangle rack, everything's perfect and the ball's on the head spot. So the guys are probably making a wing ball every single time.
Right, just to explain to some of the guys who might not follow that 100%, what Steve's talking about, like in VP4, rack money is on. in Derby City Classic. So that means that the rack is moving towards us as we look. The 9 ball is sitting on the head spot. So the actual diamond itself of balls is further up the table towards the breaker. So that should make a difference on the break, and particularly with the template break, the template rack that you watch it in a lot of the streams, you'll see the corner ball going in, the wing ball going in every time pretty much.
Yeah, the 2021 Whirlpool Masters, 9-ball triangle rack, 1 ball on the head spot. And, it's 93%. That's the second one that had 93%. The other thing is whether they're using a break box or not. So, Turning Stone 2022, they just had it. 9-ball, 1 on the head spot, triangle rack, break box, 58%. European Open 2022, 9-ball triangle rack, 9-ball on the head spot, and they're using a box. They just went to using a box on the European Tour, 61%. So I think what they've realized in Europe is they need to make the pockets tighter, and they need to stop making it so that you can make balls at 90-something% on the break. I mean, we can make VP4 so you can make a ball every time on the break, just about. We can make VP4 so you can do 90-something% on the break. But I don't think that's good. Now, I think right now, in this 10-ball game, we're not getting enough balls on the break. And I'm still going to address that. I mean, the thing is it's really the same for both players, so it's not like it's unfair.
Ball in the break this time.
But I would like to see that percentage go up.
Now, who was the guy that you mentioned there? I didn't quite catch his name. These stats that you're giving, who is it that did those?
Oh, this is Dr. Dave. He's a professor that's really into pool, and
now
this is at Colorado State.
Now, what point is he trying to make by giving those stats out? Is he making the same point you're making, or is he just generalizing?
No, he's just giving these out. I'm making a point of this is why these percentages are like this, and but this is also why I keep saying they should play 10-ball, because 10-ball you don't make as high a percentage of balls on the break. You don't make as many balls on the break. There's more balls on the table, and it's more challenging pool. Plus, there's no slop. You can't slop balls in.
Yeah.
There's no golden break. There's no slop. So if you're a pro and you want to find out who's the best player, 10-ball is just way better than 9-ball. So to give you an idea, okay, on balls on break, 10-ball, okay, triangle rack, 58%, Predator World 10-ball Championship, 63%, Vegas Open, 52%, Wisconsin Open, 61%, Derby City Classic. Now, this was using a template rack on a 10-footer, 70%. 10-foot challenge, 55%. Diamond Las Vegas Open, 59%. Diamond Las Vegas Open the year before with a magic rack, 69%. So anyhow, what you start seeing with these 10-ball racks is that it's much more consistent what the percentage is. And the variations are easily explained. Like the highest one was U.S. 10-ball championship in 2016. It was played on a bar table with a template rack, and they were 79%. If you look at all these ones with a triangle rack, 51%, 49%, 58%, 56%, 52%. So if you compare that to 9-ball, you've got such a huge difference where you got like 93% at the UK Open versus like 58% at Turning Stone. You have this huge variation, and that's what I'm saying is a problem. That's what I've been harping on about the European and Matchroom pool is they're not playing it in a way that, you know, the best players are going to win.
Well, Markshark has he typed in the chat a minute or two ago, not any fun playing you pros. Now, I can tell you what I'm getting from this is, especially the attempted pot that Mark played in that 4, he had no control on what he was doing to get anywhere good on that 5. He finished nowhere in the 5. So my interpretation is he's not really thinking about what he's doing an awful lot. And I think I tend to agree with Semi-Pro. Semi-Pro, I think, maybe hit the nail on the head because, you know, Mark's playing the player rather than playing the table, and he's not focused on what he should be doing. That 4 ball was a missed pot, but it was absolutely nowhere on the 5. So he wasn't playing with any great control.
He's not playing his best, but you know, I don't think he plays as good as Machine. And you know, Machine's made some mistakes, so it's not like Machine's been a machine. But you know, this is just a tough match, I think, for Markshark to win. I didn't expect him to be down 6-1, but
yeah.
So Steve-O UK, Mark's asking, are these stats on the same size pocket? No, they are not. And unfortunately, the statistics do not have pocket size on them.
But you could generalize, Steve. Most of these big tournaments in the States, what are they usually played on?
Well, it really varies. It really varies. I mean, some tournaments are played on pockets as small as 4 inches.
Well, you see, if that's the case, then in truth, you have to say that those stats are, you know, you can't really come to any great conclusion in those stats if you don't.
But here's the thing: is in Europe on these tournaments, they went to, I don't know if it was 4 1/4 or 4. They went to much smaller pockets. But when you have a small pocket and you know the table's breaking great, it still doesn't change things that much. It's going to change things some. So then they went to a break box. So they made the pocket smaller. It was still ridiculous. So then they went to a break box, and I think that's going to help. The European Open and the break box, the percentage was 61%. Because when the thing about the break box is that it's harder to make the wing ball. And that's what starts happening when the rack's really good, is you make the wing ball all the time.
Well, it's going to be 7-1.
But yeah, I mean the pocket size does matter some. It's not a trivial thing to have tighter pockets.
Well, the cue ball's stone dead. The ball in the break. No shot in the 1. But I mean, that 5 ball is a stopper, and there's a good line to get in behind those 4 balls up table. There's a good path to get there. That's what you should be aiming for. Doesn't look as if he's doing that, though. Well, maybe he is, but he's got it too thick. Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't roll out of that good, too. He could have got some sort of blocker there, and he didn't.
I mean, this is the thing. A lot of guys don't play in tournaments like this where they're over the distance. They're so used to, you know, races to 5 or a race to 7. But you know, you've got to adapt and survive. That's the way I look at it. You know, things aren't going well for you, then you have to then be proactive in doing something to try and change that. Now, obviously, choosing the right shots helps. Playing the right shots helps. Finding the pace of the table helps. You know, but you adapt and survive is my rule of thumb. You know, find a way to get yourself into the match and do it before it's too late. I mean, it's 7-1 at the moment, and this is going to be a bloodbath if Mark doesn't do something, or at least try to do something.
Well, if you're the lesser player, you know, a lot of it depends on the reason why you're the lesser player. You know, if you're the lesser player because you can't execute at the same level, that can be hard to overcome. If you're the lesser player because you make a lot of poor decisions, that can be hard to overcome. If you're a lesser player because you struggle with consistency, well, that can be overcome pretty easily. You just got to get things in the on switch where you're playing well. I think in the other situations, you need help. And, I said that up front that I thought Machine was going to have to give Markshark some help. But it's hard being the lesser player in a skill game with no handicap.
Well, if you look back to the start of this match, at the moment this scoreboard should be reading at least 4-3 to Machine. Mark's given away 2 racks. So if you look at those open opportunities that had in those 2 racks that he should have won, he's only down 1 rack. But because he didn't take those chances, he's paid the price big time. It's suddenly 7-1. You just think how different it could have been.
That was a well-played shot. Let's see. Is Mark going to be on 2 if he doesn't kick this? Unfortunately, he didn't get him locked. I don't think he's got a little window here.
Yeah, big target as well. Now, he called that long, didn't he? He called it into the top pocket.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that it came as close as it did to the side at that angle. Yeah, pool is a brutal game. I mean, you can just you can get hammered in this game worse than just about any game I've ever played. And the reason why is because in a game like a rotation game is a player can keep control of the table. So if your opponent is keeping control of the table and you just don't get chances, every time you get to the table, all you're doing is kicking at balls.
Yeah.
That's a pretty rough match. And that's why I keep saying the kicking game is so important, because that may be your chance. It cracks me up. I listen to people complain, that their opponent misses a ball and they get to the table and they're snookered and they're complaining about luck and this and that. And it's like, my attitude is exactly the opposite. If I get to the table, I am happy. I got a chance. I don't care if I got to hit a 4-rail kick to hit the ball. I'm happy that I got out of my chair. And I think, you've got to learn to take advantage of those chances, because against good players, that might be all you get. And I think
misses the 6s. Oh, he's unlucky there.
That's a great thing about these world championships, is you get to come in here and you get to play the really good players. And, you can look at it 2 ways. You can pout about it and go, I don't like playing these guys. It's too good. Or you can watch and see what they do and try to figure out how you can get better. Yeah. Because that's the challenge, is how do you play when you don't get very many chances? And that's what most people don't understand. Even players that can execute fairly well, they don't understand how to play in a match where they don't get very many chances. Well, and I'll tell you, I lost like crazy till I learned that. I lost and lost and lost and lost, because I didn't know what to do when I got
ball in hand, I think,
in a match where I got to the table 3 times. I lost every time for a long time, because it's hard. It's hard to learn that.
So,
yeah, you're a Challenge 9 room with Cobra Bill Spec. Yeah, I've played in ring games like that. I remember I played in a ring game. Oscar was in it. It was 10-ball ring game. The first thing he does is he wins the first break. He gets the first break, and Oscar breaks and runs 3 racks. That was the start of the ring game. And I did go 45 minutes without a shot. Needless to say, I didn't do that well in that ring game.
Well, this is just a little roll through, play it long. Nothing to do with the cue ball. For 8-1.
Yeah, this is rough. I mean, Markshark is, but this is good for him, I mean, it's going to be an opportunity to learn something. That's the thing, is you can take these kind of losses and just, you know, think about all the negatives, or you can take it as an opportunity to learn, try to figure out, you know, how you can compete better
Ball in
against
the
this
break
kind
again.
of player. Well, I'm not even keeping track anymore. I figured I'll just go back and watch the video because I've already lost it.
I think Mark has as well. 8-1.
Well, you know, it's easy to get discouraged, and everybody has their own little personal things that, you know, they do that gets them in the wrong headspace. You know, mine used to be I was always worried about how I was playing, and I still do find myself doing that sometimes. And, you know, so my focus has to be not, you know, worrying about how I'm playing or how I'm hitting the ball or whatever, you know, because it's not productive. You kind of got to learn what thought train isn't good for you, and it's different for everybody.
Well, I'll tell you the rule I'm going by in this 9-ball league. In this 9-ball league, it's a fairly simple rule. If I'm coming to the table and the balls are all there, I'm expecting to run out, and I'm annoyed if I don't. As simple as that, because you've got to be playing at that sort of level. If there's not a ball locked up, there's nothing that's a problem. That could be a problem. That was a bad miss by Machine. But you've got to work at your game. A lot of the guys need to just, and this is why I keep moaning and moaning and moaning. You've got to be thinking before you move. It's the most obvious thing that you have to be doing. You have to be thinking about where you're going next. I couldn't express it any more simple than that. And it's amazing the amount of time that people are just not focused enough on what they're doing. All the good guys in this game do it.
Well, I can tell you what I do is if I get to the table after the break, whether it was me breaking or the other guy, the first thing I do is I figure out how I'm going to run out the whole table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I figure out how I'm going to run the whole table out. And it may not end up going that way, but I figured it out. And I mean, the key thing is you have to understand where the problem areas are and then sort of work backwards from those to figure out how you're going to get to it and how you're going to deal with it. But it's very good practice, especially till you learn good powder play, to say, I'm going to put the cue ball here, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here. And on the 9-ball rack, I can do the whole thing in my mind in like 10 or 15 seconds. Boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know how to play good patterns. When you first start trying to do that, you know, it may take you 60 seconds to see a pattern. 8-ball, it's a lot tougher because you have a lot of traffic and things. So 8-ball takes longer, which, by the way, is why when you were playing with a shot clock, you get a lot longer time after the break. It's because you need a lot longer time. Well, I agree with you, Cobra. A lot of players need to improve their execution too. Yeah. I mean, you can know where to put the ball and not get it there, and you know, it's the knowledge of how to play patterns doesn't do you much good when you can't move the cue ball well.
Yeah, and again, it's, you know, having a basic knowledge of how to use simple English to get that cue ball to do something for you. And if a lot of the sort of lower rated VP players thought about that a bit more, or at least went in and experimented on certain shots, I see a lot of players who could improve overnight, and I've said it before, they could improve overnight if they just thought about these sort of little things and how simple learning them can actually improve their game tenfold. But I think, you know, as you said, Steve, the first thing to do is always study the table and have a good idea where you're going. Okay, things can go a bit funny, but if you've got a good idea where you're going, then you've got a fair chance that you're going to find your way out. And there's just simple things that players can do to help their game. But that's up to them, whether they want to apply that and put a bit more thinking into their game. They use the excuse, "Oh, I'm just having fun," but the real truth is they're not willing to learn. That's my answer to that. "Oh, I'm only here to have fun." Oh, well, you're only here to have fun and still get your arse handed to you at the end of the day. As long as you
Well,
enjoy that, that's fine.
not everybody's as interested in getting better. I mean, and
Yeah.
I understand that, I mean, that's why people want games like Killer. I mean, Killer's a less competitive game. It's just something fun. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying if you want to, become more competitive, these are the sort of things you have to do. I mean, if you don't want to put the work in or be more competitive, that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to tell anybody, gee, you have to do this.
Yeah. I'm old school though, Stephen.
You got to be interested in that.
I don't play for fun. I play to beat the shit out of the guy if I can do it, and do my best to try.
Well, let me tell you what, when you start gambling, there's no such thing as for fun.
No.
Because you want to empty their pockets and you don't want yours to be empty.
Yeah, you want at least have the cab fare home. Yeah.
Now, gambling can be fun. I mean, I think playing for money is fun, but there's a little different emphasis when you got a bunch of money riding on a game.
So, quick reminder to you guys while this match is continuing. It won't be continuing much longer, but these are the matches that are on the schedule. The newest one is the one with Fast Eddie and Slim. It's going to be Friday afternoon, my time, 3 p.m, breakfast time, East Coast. And sort of very early in the morning if you're West Coast. But it will be a good match, and I should be there to cover that one. We've got Popman Inspector on next Saturday, hence why Popman's not in the VP4 TV team, and neither am I, because I'm going to be doing the stream in that one. And what was the other match I missed there? Well, the one, dare I say it, I've missed the big Albinario Bedhead match, which is Wednesday night, 7:20 p.m. British Summer Time. I'll be there for that. Brain Fill Out and Hair Pig, that is 7:30 on Wednesday, which is my day off as well. The only problem is it clashes with Albie and Bedhead, so we'll just have match updates on that one. Right, let me get rid of that. So, well, I suppose the question is Markshark going to get to 3 racks? Well, again.
Yeah, I think Semi-Pro is getting pretty close to getting his handicap adjusted up. The difference is 129. Let's take a vote. How many of you guys think we should adjust Semi-Pro up in League?
Well, I think we should, just for the sake of the fact that you ranted on it, you two have mine. Oh, that's my excuse, and that's my reason.
I know, just for complaining. Well, here's something that's interesting. Cheeky Chico's is actually, his rating is actually less than what he's playing in League, yet he is one of the leaders in win percentage. Mm-hmm. His win percentage is the same as yours.
But see, the difference is I'm a tactical genius and he isn't. That's the difference.
Well, you better figure out why he's won so much. Now, this doesn't show matches won, which I'm going to put that stat in. See, now I'm surprised that you guys didn't come up with that. Where's Whit coming up with that stat? We should have something that shows the matches won and lost for each player in League.
Yeah.
And we don't. I think I'm going to come up with that stat.
That's another one to write down. Well, did you write the one down about the handicap?
Yeah.
Good. Some people are just winners.
Some people are just winners.
Well,
he's not a tactical genius. He's just a winner.
It's 10-1 now to Machine. Let's have a quick look at the bracket. Hang on a minute, I'll do it the other way. Press, get to the lobby and do show banners. Oh, that's not it. I need to do that and then that And then I can go to...
Oh, something else I changed too. I fixed the problem with the money balls not getting spotted when the person giving up the spot breaks and makes a money ball. They weren't spotting. They spot now.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the bracket there. Cobra's going to be favourite against Jose, no doubt about that. And if all things go according to the book, then it's going to be Machine against Cobra in the next round. And that'll be a good, interesting match to watch, as they all are now. Well, damage limitation, Mark.
I think Cheeky Chico may have a lot of people rooting for him when playing Stub.
Well, as long as he doesn't lose his own head and capitulate and get into Stubbs' game.
Well, I mean, he plays pretty good. He's just got to reduce the number of easy missed shots.
Well, this is asking
if he
for
does
a scratch.
That, if he doesn't miss as many easy shots, I don't think Stubb can beat him. To be honest.
Is he trying to? He's trying to get the edge of that. I thought he was going to go off the back rail there and try and kick the three, but that's
well,
always...
that was never any good. Even if he missed and hit the three, if he didn't sell out, he was just going to leave a super easy safety, and he was going to get locked up. I mean, you got to realize with all these balls down here that if you put the cue ball right next to the three ball, you're going to get locked up. Or at worst, at best case, you're going to be at the other end of the table with snookered.
Well, Machine's going to try the run out. Well, this is the first problem, is getting out of there on the 5 ball.
The best advice I can give you guys on a moving game, other than, practice certain safety shots and kicks and things like that. But as far as, how you should think about it when you're at the table is, you should think, when I do this, what's the other guy going to do from this position? Because, just put yourself in that position. Okay, if I put the cue ball here and the object ball here, what would I do if I had that shot?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's probably what your opponent's going to do too. And that'll help you a lot in making decisions on whether the play you're making is any good or not. Just think ahead. Now, in one pocket, a lot of players, they'll think ahead 2-3 shots back and forth. I'm going to do this, he's going to do that. I'm going to do this, he's going to do that, and kind of figure out where this is going.
Well, that's a good little run out from Machine, because that 5 ball, he managed to sneak right behind the 10 and squirt out onto that 6, cut it in the side, and the run out is done. Good job.
Machine's another one of these guys that's a good player that could be a lot better if he just, learn some more stuff. Because, he's got all the basic skills. What Cobra was talking about before about, position play. I mean, Machine is capable. He's got a good feel for things. He understands how to hit the cue ball, but he doesn't play the right shots all the time. And that's a lot easier to learn, I think, than, learning to move the cue ball well. Well, that's a really good shot. He didn't get him locked. It would have been better, but it's tough to lock a ball when you're rolling it like that.
Well, he should still be calling the 1 ball into the corner if he's playing the kick.
Yeah. And this is a shot where you're probably going to get safe if you hit this. You just, as long as the cue ball doesn't hit the 2 ball, he's probably going to be safe. Assuming he cuts the 1 ball the right direction.
There you
go.
That
awful hard.
There you go.
He hit that too hard.
That last shot.
Because that's the thing I'm talking about thinking about the speed you want to hit something so that if you miss, you get safe. If he hits that easier, then, he's got the 2, the 8, the 10, all these balls there that can potentially be blockers. When you hit it that hard, you know, then you got to get lucky because the cue ball's not going to stay there.
Yeah, Machine's settled right into the game. Well, he'd settled right in long before this, but it's still another good little run out.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of waiting for the end at this point.
I think he's still okay. I think he can get to it clean, yeah. So out into the table, leave the long 9. I would assume he's put loads of right on it to get it around the angles.
You guys do realize that Albin got a lot better, you know, than he was like 3 years ago. And that's why he's got the separation from people.
And this is a guy who doesn't play half as much as the likes of Spectre Dawn and a lot of the other guys.
Well, you know, I don't know Albin personally, but I would think that he's probably a pretty intelligent person.
So, on the hill. And look at this mess at this table here. Try again.
So Semi-Pro's been doing the one pocket drill, the make all the balls in one pocket. I don't know if anybody else has tried that, but that's a pretty good practice thing to do. Try to make all the balls in one pocket, one turn, or what you would call one inning.
I don't think there'll be many folk taking up that challenge.
Well, it's a great drill.
Well, this might take a little while to resolve itself here. I don't think Mark can get enough of that.
Yeah, this is a little tricky here. I think he's got to get the one ball come straight back, and he
See,
did.
again, he's hitting things too hard.
Yeah, you know, he's got that a little too firm.
He's got one pace tonight, and it ain't good.
Well, that was tricky because he had to put English on it to miss the kiss, and in doing that, it's hard to take the speed off the cue ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a kind of a touchy shot.
I think he might have. Yeah, I think he's got away with it though. From the point of view, it's not an easy pot, but that was well done. No shot in the 2 though.
Yeah, 21 at the moment. Too bad you're not playing in this World Championship Semi-Pro. You can't keep hiding. You got to get in. You got to get back on the horse. Get back in the arena and playing these things.
And while we're at it here, we need to get things in motion here to get things organised for whatever the next World Championship's going to be before we get to the end of this tournament, and then we're all still scratching
We just got to figure out what it's going to be. I mean, I'll do whatever. I think there's a few things. 9 ball it's been a while. 8 ball on the bar table, that's another one. Snooker. One pocket sim 3 ball. You guys really want to do a 3 ball World Championship?
Oh, why not do that for a laugh? Races to 30 first round.
Well, we could. The question is that what people really want to do?
You'd need to tighten the rack for that, Steve.
Why, you want somebody to run 30 racks in a row?
Oh, I bet you get loads of people in it. Even semi-pro would play in it. So, Markshark is still on 1. He's at the table, but he's been at the table often enough tonight. got the stun right this time. Has he gone far enough?
We could do bank pool. Maybe you guys would learn how to bank.
I think
Bank pool would be cool. A short rack, of course. I mean,
it's a bit
not too many
straight.
people play long rank banks. Short rack banks would be good.
He's got there. He managed to get the cue ball working there. He didn't have a great angle. Now leave the angle in the 7, which he has done. Now this is just a nice little touchy shot here.
Yeah, this is just maybe a touch of left English to hold the ball.
Yeah, just stop it running away.
He's got a little right English on it, which is really not what you want to do.
Yeah, he's opened it up.
He's okay, but
I mean, even that shot that he's played there. Why would you put right English on it? I mean, that's what that's what I'd be asking Mark. I'd be saying,
most is center ball. I mean, you can adjust the line by how much cut you take on the ball, but yeah. Well, it's just it's learning how to execute.
It should be 2 on the board now, for God's sake. I mean, he can't mess this up.
Well, he could.
Well, he's still got a target of 3 to get, and the good news is it's his break.
Never underestimate your opponent's capability of messing up. Well, Honolulu is a great game. The problem is all the shots that have to be called.
Yeah, every shot. You'd be there calling shots in your sleep, so you would in Honolulu. But it is a good game because it's a great game for imagination and creativity.
In banks, you can just say, you only have to call multi-rail banks. And since probably at 85 to 90% of the banks you're going to shoot are single rail banks.
Yeah, what if it catches?
Not having to call that many.
What if you don't call the bank and it's only a single rail bank and it hits the jaw and goes into the corner pocket? Do you say, "Oh, I played that"?
What do you mean? It goes off the titty and goes down the corner pocket?
Yeah. You then say, I played that, or do you do the gentlemanly thing and miss call?
Obviously, that's not a good shot. I mean, bank pool is, the game already takes care of most of the things. You can't hit another ball. Everything's got to be clean. So the only thing we'd have to do is call multi-rail banks, and we could play a bank pool championship, and it wouldn't be too bad. I'll tell you what, everybody would improve. Everybody that played in it would get better because banking's a huge part of the game at a high level of games like 9-ball and 10-ball.
I would look at the enthusiastic responses in the chat before you contemplate setting one of them, Steve.
Well, it's always difficult here because, it's like bar tables. Oh, we don't want to play on a bar table. You don't want to play on a bar table. You want to play the game you see on TV, or what the pros are playing in Europe is basically like playing bar table pool, playing on a table that has plays super easy pockets with 93% on the break. I mean, the bar table plays tougher than that. So I just have I have a problem with this monkey see, monkey do attitude, where people think that, this is what I see on TV, so this is how it should be. Bar table pool can be great. I don't know if I'd want to run a 9-ball bar table championship, but 10-ball or 8-ball are both good on a bar table. Actually, I think 8-ball is a better game on a bar table than a big table. But it's hard for me to get over people's
prejudice.
Game prejudices. Yeah. It's like I'm just here doing what the players want to do. If nobody wants to play a bar table tournament, we won't play it.
Well, it's hasta la vista, baby. He played a nice little shot, dragging and killing the cue ball to go on that 5, but he's missed a fairly simple 5-ball out the side.
Races to 3. Why would you want to do races to 3?
Because I think Slim's attention span might not last much longer than that in a bank pool
Oh
game.
no, if we're playing a World Championship bank pool, I would think like races to 7 would be the shortest I'd want to do in a winner's bracket. I mean, bank pool doesn't take as long as you think when you're playing short rack. Short rack banks goes pretty fast.
So it's well done to Machine. He wasn't pushed in any way whatsoever, but it's big step up time for his next match, probably, with the greatest respect to Jose. So well done.
Now that was I don't think anybody guessed 13-2. Really, you think 7 is too long for a World Championship?
Let's have a look at the match stats.
How long do you think a race to 7 is going to take? I mean, I'm thinking like maybe an hour and a half.
I'm
not talking about with 2 numpties, but
I don't think I've ever played a game of bank pool. I might be lying, but I don't recall ever playing a game of it.
Maybe guys ought to play and see how long it takes, and then we can kind of figure from there. But I just, numpties are all we have. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that. I would say that there's a lot of players that could improve their banking, but.
Well, balls per turn.
Well, I'd love to do 1 pocket. Problem is, we might have a world championship with 5 people.
Machine was on 2 balls per turn. Shot percentage 74%. Markshark 54%. 15 games won. 15 games, 13 won. 86% win percentage. That's not the one I'm looking for. It's that one I'm looking for.
Well, why don't you guys go play some bank pool? Get set up a match room. Go play some bank pool. Play some like races to 7 and see how long it takes.
Racks High Run 1.
Because I find it hard to believe that that's too long.
Well, the only good percentage that Markshark's got out of that match is that he had 2 money balls shot and he's 100%. But other than that, the rest of it doesn't make great reading. In fact, average balls made, Machine was less than Mark. He was 0.4 on the break, and Mark was 0.6. So
I think bank pool, if I had to generalize, it's about twice as long as 9 ball. So if a race to 17 and we're playing 10 ball, we're playing race to 17. I mean, cut that in half and it'd be about the same as what we're playing now in 10 ball.
So the next big match, folks, is Wednesday night, 7:20 British summertime. That would be 2:20 Eastern, 11:20 Pacific, 1:20 Central Time or Mountain Time for Rob, if Rob's there. I don't think he is. And then, of course, there's Brainfill out in Hairpig on the same night. It starts about 10 minutes later. Fast Eddie and Slim on Friday afternoon. And finally, Popman and Spectre on at the weekend. That's the matches that are scheduled. And I think that about covers it. Well, Mark, I think I don't think he had his head screwed on. I think he went in with maybe the wrong mindset to that match. I'm going to have to get that out of his head. I'm going to have to give him a stern talking to in preparation for this weekend.
Yeah, you better. You better, because I think he's got his head someplace that isn't good.
Yeah. So I think unless you get anything else to say, Steve, I'm heading for another coffee, and then it'll be beddy bye time pretty soon. Thanks all for watching. Take care, and we will see you again in a couple of days' time, hopefully. And if you can't see them, it'll be on YouTube. Remember that. So we'll bid you,
guys. Go play some bank pool, and we can talk about it. And Well, I mean, the brake is, I told you I'm going to tweak the rack some more. It's not great right now.
We'll be tweaking here for now to Kingdom Come, try to get it right.
Well, no, because it's the thing you got to understand, from my point of view, at least, is it's going the right direction because the rack is breaking better now. It's breaking more like a real rack in a real game, but it's not, you know, it's just not where we want it. I made the adjustments so that the balls rack more like what you would see on a real pool table.
Yeah, the brake. I mean, how can you define it that the brake's shit now? Because I mean, we're all agreed the ball's open better. I think what players are trying to find is a way to find some half decent level of consistency, but they can't find it.
Well, I'm going to tighten up the racks a little bit more. I mean, I think I got the imperfections in the right areas. I'm going to tighten up the racks a little more because we've got the brake speed down on the cues to a reasonable level. So I understand that. That's why I said I'm going to work on it some more. You know, it's kind of hard to tweak this. We're kind of doing in-game testing because it's hard for me to tweak this and go, well, this is how it should be. So we're tweaking it and then playing matches. So I'm going to tweak it a little more and it'll get better. Don't worry about it. All I was saying now is that it's everybody's playing with the same advantage or disadvantage or whatever you want to call it. Everybody's playing with the same, what do you call it? Shit. Everybody's got the same shit.
Well, I mean, there's still enough time to see an improvement, but it's something that has to be worked on. I mean, I don't think there's any harm in tweaking it during the tournament because it's already been tweaked and it's not made a great deal of difference in the guys getting consistent balls in the break, but you're not expecting a ball in every break, though.
It was a huge change when I changed how the racks were put together and changed the brake speeds, and it's actually it's gone very well. I mean, that's the thing I'm looking at the direction it's going, not where it's at.
Well, here's a point, Steve. The whole idea or your whole train of thinking when you did this, decided to change the rack, and yes, we agreed the ball's open better. So would the solution be to put the brake cues back up to where they were and see what happens then?
No, because that's just, ridiculous speed on them. I mean, that's why the racks got kind of where they were at. And, I mean, in real life, everything changes. I mean, things change from hour to hour. The air conditioning goes on and things change quite a bit on the table and the brake. You go to another pool room and everything's different. I mean, tables are different. The pockets are cut different. The humidity is different. The wear on the balls and the tablecloth is different. Everything always changes. So,
well, the point I'm making is that you did the change. The rack changed for the way it is at the moment, but in the meantime, you also reduced the brake cue speeds. Would you not have been better to have done the assessment with the brake cues as they are to see if you noticed a huge difference?
Because they were at ridiculous speeds. I mean, it was 28 miles an hour, which is,
and that's still less than the top pros do, though, isn't it?
Very few pros can break at 28, and even the ones that can rarely do because of being able to control it. The problem is that, especially like you go to something like League where a guy's getting a huge spot and, he's got a rainbow breaker and you can be a numpty and you can break at 28 miles an hour. It's just, so the rack was made to crap because of that. So taking an opposite tact of, some numpty can still break at 24 miles an hour if he's got a rainbow breaker, which, you know, is maybe not right, but they can. But at least it's been toned down some. So, you know, I mean, if you look at Shane, who's probably the best breaker in the game today, I think he does break at 24 sometimes when, you know, the conditions are a certain way, but most of the time he doesn't. Even in 10 ball, he doesn't. And I think if you, I don't know if you've ever seen anybody use a break speed. There's actually an app called Break Speed that you can get for iPhone and Android where you can measure break speeds. But you'd be surprised what 28's like. I mean, that's like Jeff DeLuna, 28, 30 mile an hour. I mean, 30 is just ridiculous. I mean, there's very few people in the world that can break at 30. I think the best I've ever done is 25, and I just about got a hernia doing that. And who knows where the cue ball's going? You know, the fact that Shane can break it like 24 and control the cue ball is really amazing. I mean, it's very difficult to be accurate when you get that kind of speed, and VP is the opposite. You're perfectly accurate every time.
Well, what was the match we watched the other night? Who was in the stream the other night? Not the one, obviously, that didn't go ahead, but it was the one before that. And both players, I'm pretty certain, stayed in the same break all night, just slightly left or right of the middle spot, like where where the brown ball would go in snooker. They didn't vary it at all. Cobra's talking about players should vary the break. I agree with them. You know, if things aren't working, you try things, you experiment. But I didn't see a lot of evidence of that in the other match the other night, and I'll be watching to see if Cobra does that in his match. Some players stick with the same break all night, and it's either working for them or it isn't. But they don't. Again, they're not really thinking about changing things up. I mean, that was the first thing I did the other night there. I was backward and forward and this way and that way just to try and see if things would work different. So there's all things you can do to try and help yourself.
In general, as the rack gets tighter, the 9 ball is going to get much more better than the 10 ball. So, you know, if the break percentage in 10 ball goes up 5%, 9 ball is probably going to go up 15%. It's just the nature of a 9 ball rack is it's going to go up a lot more because the wing balls start going in a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got tweaks in it, plus the fix for the whatchamacallit, the spotting the money ball.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make those changes to the website for more stats, and we'll take it from there. And I don't, you know, semi-pro, you shouldn't worry about all this stuff. You should worry about getting yourself in a world championship, like actually signing up for one. That's what I recommend you do. Then you can complain.
Yeah.
All right. Are we done?
We are done. I'm heading out. So,
all right. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Thanks to Steve for joining us. I hope you can join us for the early match on Friday. I'll be there for it. And remember, watch them on YouTube. They're on the playlist. This one will go on the playlist almost immediately. And we'll see you again next time. So with that, good night. Take care.
Good night.
See you later.
Good night, ladies.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.